Ladies and gents, welcome back. Canadians are having doubt, and the numbers are in, regarding David Johnston's job as a special rapporteur to investigate into allegations of Chinese interference in our political system here in Canada. And well, yeah, polls have gone out and the numbers are back. We have here the National Post reporting only 27% of Canadians believe David Johnston is credible and impartial on foreign interference. The poll says former Governor General has been under fire over qualifications as special rapporteur, including his ties to Justin Trudeau and the Trudeau Family Foundation, which should be damning enough. I mean, just the appearance of conflict of interest should be enough for the guy to recuse himself. But hey, no, it's all too easy for people who have been around for a long time to destroy their entire reputations around Justin Trudeau. It just seems to be a pandemic of the willing in Ottawa these days. Barely 1 in 4 Canadians have faith in the former Governor General David Johnston's credibility and impartiality as special rapporteur in foreign interference. A new poll by Ledger for National Post shows while nearly half are impressed with the Liberal government's general handling of foreign interference issues. Now, the poll goes on to say that 69% of Canadians are concerned that pressure from the Chinese government is influencing or impacting political activities in Canada. 41% saying Canada should adopt more aggressive approach towards China, even if it means risking potential economic and political retaliation. It just matters that much to Canadians. Well, 41%. There's the other ones that answered differently, obviously. But coming down here, 69% of Canadians trust elections in Canada a lot or somewhat, in comparison to 51% of the Canadians that trust the federal government a lot or somewhat. So half of the country does not trust the federal government, but a good majority of Canadians do trust the electoral system. So this kind of puts a big wrench in what Jagmeet Singh is saying, and we're going to get to that in a little bit here, because he doesn't want an election. Well, you can speculate on why that is on your own, but here we go. This is what really solidifies things for me here in this situation, because a lot of times people will say, oh, you're being biased. There's only one side of this. This is one way. No, this is the Toronto Star, of course, and the Toronto Star is definitely not of my bias, if you would say that I had one. No, this is a very left-wing publication, and they've been very known and well-known, and they're not shy about being a left-wing publication. David Johnston defies House of Commons, refuses to quit probe into foreign interference. They're very much as well opposed to this whole concept, and they've been pretty vocal about this, and vocal about this Chinese interference situation as a whole. And well, just the Liberal government's push towards squashing this whole thing, taking this out on journalists and whistleblowers. Of course, the Toronto Star very much sticking up for the journalists involved in this and the whistleblowers in here. The Liberal government's independent advisor on foreign interference rejected a call from opposition parties to step down from his role, stating his marching orders come from the Prime Minister and that he will proceed with his work until his mandate is fulfilled. It wasn't just a call, though. This was actually like a formal vote in the House to have him step down. The motion calling on for David Johnston to step down and a public inquiry to be called has passed. 174 to 150 in the House of Commons. This would be, the House of Representatives of the Canadian populace. This is, this is how our government is supposed to work. But no, apparently they can just ignore this. This is the day and age that we live in. When I accepted the mandate to act as independent special rapporteur, I did so with full knowledge of the fact that the work ahead would be neither straightforward nor uncontroversial, nor permitted by the Canadian public. David Johnston said in a statement Wednesday. This is, of course, he's going above and beyond the line of duty. Normally that would be a good thing. I don't know if that is so much in this case. This coming from True North. Johnston continues to snub requests to appear before committee. Within a day of NDP leader Jagmeet Singh calling on Prime Minister Justin Trudeau to ditch David Johnston, a special rapporteur investigating into foreign interference by communist China, the former Governor General is snubbing an invite to appear before the House of Commons committee to talk about his work on the Trudeau Foundation. It's essential that we do hear from him, said Conservative MP Michael Barrett, in trying to make his case by issuing a formal summons compelling Johnston to appear within the next 7 days. We want to take a closer look at the conclusions that he has. Take a look under the hood, if you will. Johnston has been criticized in his role as special rapporteur in this case, given his past relationship with Trudeau family and membership in the Trudeau Foundation. When tabling his report, Johnston dismissed the criticisms by saying he has no interactions with Trudeau of any friendly kind since Trudeau became a Liberal MP. Now, is that true, or I don't know? You just, I'll let you decide.
Be together at Mont Tremblant.
Yeah, tell us a little more of that, because a lot of Canadians don't realize that you, in fact, were a very good friend of Pierre Elliott Trudeau, and that your family. You knew all the Trudeau kids when they were growing up.
I guess it shows what a small country Canada is, but when Mr. Trudeau left politics, came back to Montreal, his house was just on the edge of the McGill campus, and I and the rector of the University of Montreal were working very hard for him to return to the University of Montreal Faculty of Law, where he'd been a constitutional law professor, and to have a joint appointment to McGill. His 3 boys were the same age as our 5 daughters, so we were kind of a ski party from time to time at Mont Tremblant, where we have a place and would ski on weekends. So we got to know the children, and our friendship, our relationship was really built out of childhood exchanges. And our children had enormous respect for Mr. Trudeau Sr. He was a wonderful father and very good with children.
And a horrible prime minister. But yes, no, Canada is not a small country. It is a very large country, and there's a lot of people who don't know each other. And it's really, really interesting that people who think it's a small country end up in the same circles and end up sticking up for each other in investigations against each other. Of course, he said in a report, this is from Andy Lee on Twitter, David Johnston has refused to step down as Justin Trudeau's independent special rapporteur into foreign interference, a job that's not a real job. I deeply respect the right of the House of Commons to express their opinion. As if a motion is an opinion. These are the representatives of the Canadian populace. Oh, but they want to express their opinion about my work going forward. But my mandate comes from the government. By that, he means the Prime Minister himself. I have a duty to pursue that work until my mandate is completed, and the mandate of covering up the interference that is so embarrassing for the Trudeau name, for Trudeau and the Liberals. Of course, the Liberals not wanting to be called Liberals anymore in Canada. But hey, that's another story altogether. Jagmeet Singh, though, says he'll keep supporting Trudeau until elections can be trusted. And these are his own words. It's unbelievable.
Question the approach of creating the conditions for an election or triggering an election as not serious about protecting our democracy. If we want to protect our democracy, I would think the approach should be, let's put in place new measures. What are the new steps to protect against foreign interference? What are the new steps that are going to be taken to ensure that nomination meetings aren't being influenced, that MPs aren't being influenced? I would like to see a series of steps being taken, and that to me would show some real seriousness about protecting our electoral system. If it's just about a game to trigger an election, then sure, Mr. Poilievre's approach is tear it all down, have an election. I actually don't think this is a game. I think this is serious. I want to make sure that there are steps in place, that there are recommendations being followed that actually reinforce our democracy. Because for me, I want to see people believe in voting. I want to see people confident in voting. And I want to restore Canadians' confidence in that. It's not about a game for me. I want to continue to fight for a public inquiry because it's the right thing to do to give Canadians the answers to questions. But I don't see how it's logical if the goal is to protect our democracy to then trigger an election when we're worried about foreign interference. That doesn't seem logical.
Okay, so those are his words. Now, he made his recommendations again, and I'll bring this back up on the screen. He made his recommendations, and they voted 174 to 150 for the recommendation that David Johnston stepped down and for a public inquiry to be called, and they didn't take those recommendations. The whole point of an election is because they're not taking the recommendations. Now, this is a really interesting concept that Jagmeet Singh is bringing up. The idea that Justin Trudeau, because he's not doing his job, Jagmeet Singh needs to support him in not doing his job until he does his job. Anyway, I'll leave you guys with that one. And hopefully you guys leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think about this whole concept of the independent rapporteur not stepping down, even though the Canadian public, through their representation, have made that very, very clear. And well, we also have news that the Canadian public is happy, 70%, to have an election. They're very confident that it would be safe. Anyway, leave that one with you guys. Leave a comment in the comment section down below, and then we'll see you in the next one. Keep on trucking.